Hi everyone, I thought I'd come and make a little video today because it's been ages since I did, and mainly because the spring has sprung really quite early this year. This down beneath here is wild garlic or dustloak. I'm at my volkstuin at the moment, and these here are up. Now I swept the path because it was filled with leaves this morning, and these have been nestling under quite a thick layer of leaves, a lot thicker than you can see here. And when I swept them, they seem to have grown even today while I've been gardening, because they were really little. If they hadn't been really short, the leaf sort of curled up leaves there, they would have snapped off with the stiff brush. So they really are growing a mile a minute at the moment. So if you've got dustloak, wild garlic close to where you live, you might want to check it out and see how it's getting on. My ivy arch, found it today, had fallen on the ground in the storm the other day. Well, it wasn't really a storm, it was a bit windy, so I really need to firm that up this year. Trying to make it from just wood that I find in the garden. It's got a really ropey, poor quality metal arch underneath that I picked up from a supermarket about 4 years ago. Anyway, it's not really working at the moment, so I need to fix that up. So that's a job that I'll be working on with the apprentices. I think it's next week that we meet. The little willow shelter that we've got here, we used to have a full willow hut, but we changed it the other year. It's got some really interesting fungi growing on the willows which have not survived. Now, it always happens, you build something with willow, some of them live through and some of them don't last very long. But I thought you might like to see this. I think that's really pretty. Some really nice little fungi. See if I can focus on it a bit better. There. So this is on old willow. I think that's really nice. I'm going to try and ID it when I get home because I haven't got my mushroom books with me. What else have we got? The sort of shape that you can see over there, it's sort of meant to be a spiral. I'm not sure if I've really managed it or not. Oh, here's some living willow, by the way. Quite a bit of it's survived. I'm really quite happy actually. Some what's this called? Lonicera. Honeysuckle has done really well. It always sort of winds its way around this big tree here, and anyway it's spun off towards the willow hut. That would make really nice cover and flowers and scent if that survives. Let's just mooch through here. So this is I have a lot of trees in my volkstuin garden, and always, they need some maintenance, more than I give them, really. And anyway, I get a lot of bits of tree that I need to do something with throughout the year. Things that fall from the trees, or when I prune them. So this area here used to be a thicket of this, I need to find out the name of it actually. I've forgotten. It looks like buxus or box, like you make box hedges from, but it's not. Anyway, so it doesn't get the buxus moth or the buxus mott or the buxus moth, which destroys all those beautiful box hedges. So anyway, this has survived really well, but there's far too much of it. So I carved through it with my friend Caro quite some years ago, and this is the result these days. This is the shadiest part of the garden. It's got kind of a rough path through, but I like the shape of this, so I've made the buxus into a bit of a spiral, and then where that ends, it becomes what would you call it? I'm trying to think of the name of it. Anyway, it's a hedge made of branches, and it's quite a nice way to help wildlife in the garden and keep your trimmings under control. Through the middle, I'm thinking what more to do with that. That very dodgy looking stem there is actually magnolia, and it had flowers last year. I'm really happy with it, so encouraging that. This was a twig that grew into a tree. Got some nice sort of hedging plants at the front to try and block the immediate view from the main path. What have we got down here? It'd be interesting to come back and show you this in a week or two. And I've brushed all these paths here. Well, paths, very loose term for them. But like this here, this is sweet woodruff. Looks a bit like cleavers, but it's not. Lovely, pretty plant, and it smells lovely. The Dutch call it liefevrouwbedstro, and it smells like cut grass when it dries. People used to stuff mattresses with it and use it as a strewing herb. Anyway, I have a lot of it here, and it sort of self-seeds and spreads through the path area here. So really pleased to see that that's looking really quite abundant already. Sorry about my terrible camera shots. I'm not very good at this. So if I step through here, here's another one. I did intend this part of the garden to become a bit of a poison beauties area, and I put a few poisonous plants in a couple of years ago, and this is the one that has done well and survived. This is Lords and Ladies, Aurum maculatum. I think it's Aurum's Kolk in Dutch. Anyway, beautiful, beautiful plant, very poisonous. It has spikes with like a hood around it later for flowers, but I'm so pleased that it's doing well. It's just lovely. Really glossy leaves. It looks like a house plant. So that one's doing well. And I put in, what else have we got here? Oh, this sort of looks a bit, don't know if you can see it really. It looks like a bramble there, excuse the muddy fingers. Also got a bee sting today, so I'm getting a bit podgy on the hand. But it's smooth. It's a smooth stemmed bramble, and I really like this. It gives sort of a cross between a blackberry and a raspberry-ish. Not too prolific fruiting, but it should give me a thicket of cover like a bramble bush, but without the prickles. And here I pruned back my rambling rector rose that Mum and Dad gave me a few years ago, and had so many cuttings from it. I thought, let's just try and see if they grow in quiet corners of the garden. So here's one, there's another at the back. You probably can't see it very well, but this is a really quiet area. It's going to get filled up with wild garlic in about 2 weeks' time, the way the weather's going. So that's going to just sit there until it roots. Maybe it'll take a few months, maybe it'll take a few years, it doesn't matter. So here's the inside of my sort of hedgehog, wildlife friendly, birds love it to come and make their nests from area. It's it's only me here, so I can't get anybody else to film me against it, but it's up to my hip, the height of this. So it's quite substantial. You can lie in it. You could camp in it. But anyway, if you have ideas of what you think I should do on the ground here, very shady. It gets, it's always quite damp, this area. On a rainy day, I'd need my wellies for down here. So that's the type of soil it is. It's quite peaty soil, very rich. I always leave the leaves to rot here, so it's good. Bit acidic soil. And then let's just go through here, climbing over some trees and through. And this is what the centre of the garden looks like at the moment. There's my beehive waiting for bees in the spring. And let's see how far along the ice plants are. We've got, I don't tend to cut my plants back until I see the new growth coming, in case we get like a real hard frost late on, and then it just protects them a little bit if you leave it on. But I need to graze these back. And at the bottom here, this is meadow sweet. Meadow sweet grows really, really well